Alright, everybody, it is time for Chapter 6 of the Magic Treehouse, Dinosaurs Before Dark. Chapter 6, Dinosaur Valley. Annie, look at this, Jack called. Look at what I found. Annie had gone up to the hilltop. She was picking a flower from the magnolia tree. Annie, look, a medallion, shouted Jack. But Annie wasn't paying attention to Jack. She was staring at something on the other side of the hill. Oh, wow, she said, clutching her magnolia flower she took off from down the hill. Annie, come back, Jack shouted, but Annie had disappeared. Oh, brother, Jack muttered. He stuffed the gold medallion into his jeans pocket, and then Annie heard Jack scream. Annie, he said. Jack heard another sound, a deep bellowing sound, like a tuba. Jack, come here, quick, Annie called. Jack raced up the hill, and when he got to the top, he gasped. The valley below was filled with nests, big nests made out of mud. The nests were filled with tiny dinosaurs. Annie was crouching next to one of the nests. Towering over her was a gigantic duck-billed dinosaur. Don't panic, don't move, said Jack. He stepped slowly down the hill towards Annie. The huge dinosaur was waving her arms and making her tuba sound. Jack stopped. He didn't want to get too close. He knelt on the ground. Okay, move towards me. Slowly, he said. Annie started to stand up. Don't stand, crawl, said Jack. Clutching her flower, Annie crawled towards Jack. Still bellowing, the duck-billed dinosaur followed her. Annie froze. Keep going, said Jack. Annie started crawling again. Jack inched further down the hill until he was just an arm's distance from Annie. He reached out and grabbed her hand. He pulled Annie towards him. Stay down, Jack said. He crouched next to her. Bow your head and pretend to chew. Chew, said Annie. Yes, said Jack. I read that's what you do if a mean dog comes at you. Just chew. She's no Jack, said Annie. Jack and Annie bowed their heads and pretended to chew. Soon the dinosaur grew quiet. Jack looked up. I don't think she's mad anymore, he said. You saved me, said Annie. Thanks. You have to use your brain, Annie, said Jack. You can't just go running toward a nest of babies. There's always a mother nearby. Annie stood up. Annie, don't, said Jack. Too late. Annie held out her magnolia flower to the dinosaur. I'm sorry I made you worry about your baby, she said. The dinosaur moved closer to Annie. She grabbed the flower from her hand, and she reached for another. No more, said Annie. The dinosaur let out a sad tuba sound. But there are more flowers up there, Annie said. She pointed to the top of the hill. I'll get you some. Annie hurried up the hill. The dinosaur waddled after her. Jack quickly looked at the dinosaur babies. Some were crawling out of their nest. Where are the other mothers? Jack wondered. Jack took out the dinosaur book. He flipped through the pages and found a picture of some duck-billed dinosaurs. He read the caption. The Anatosaurus lived in colonies. While a few mothers babysat the nests, the others looked for food. So there were probably other mothers nearby, looking for food. Hey, Jack, Annie called. Jack looked up. Annie was at the top of the hill, feeding magnolia flowers to the giant Anatosaurus. Guess what? Annie said. She's nice too. Suddenly, the Anatosaurus made her terrible tuba sound. Annie crouched down and started to chew. The dinosaur charged down the hill. She seemed afraid of something. Jack put the book on top of his pack. He hurried to Annie. I wonder why she ran away, said Annie. We were starting to be friends. Jack looked around, and what he saw in the distance almost made him faint. An enormous monster was coming across the plain. The monster was walking on two strong legs. It was swinging a long, thick tail and dangling two tiny arms. It had a huge head and its jaws were wide open. Even from far away, Jack could see its long, gleaming teeth. "Tyrannosaurus Rex," whispered Jack. I hope you guys enjoyed today's story. I'll see you guys again tomorrow.